In this video, I will demonstrate a coloring technique designed for curly hair. It's a balayage that beautifully enhances the curls. So here you can see it already. So we are really going to color the outer part of the hair. And afterward, after bleaching, I will also color the hair with Kiss's soft shades. For those already using this, I have some exciting news. So definitely stay tuned, because I have something that will make your life easier. You can also see a cutting technique here. This video is already available on my YouTube channel. So for now, enjoy watching. Before I start the balayage for long curly hair, I'll section it off first. I first section off the guide so I can start at the bottom. What am I going to do? I'm going to make ponytails. I don't want to tangle the hair because I find it difficult to rinse out. I make a diagonal part and pull the section forward. Then at the top corner, I create the first ponytail. You can also see that the back hair is further away than the contour edge. To mimic the layering, I'm pulling out strands of hair now. This way, I get different lengths in my ponytail. This will make rinsing out much easier. So I'm pulling hair out around the ponytail, some further than others. This really boosts the layering effect. Next, I move on to my second ponytail. I turn around a bit to get everything in view, but I'm also making a diagonal part. You can see I'm working with fairly large sections. It doesn't have to be too fine. I'll have 3 ponytails on one side and 3 on the opposite side. When working with layering, this technique could also be used to create balayage. I always find rinsing out difficult afterward, and then brushing it out afterward when you have to remove all that layering is tricky. Now it's just a matter of cutting the hair ties. You can brush it all out in one go. It also works very clearly, which I always appreciate. At the back, I make a straight part, but I can angle it back up to the corner. I'll place it slightly lower. Then pull out all those hairs again. You'll see that when you use this technique in the salon, it's a very simple and fast method, resulting in a stunning final look. Once I've done one side, I do exactly the same on the other side. From there, I move to the top. To shorten the video a bit, I've already started on the other side. As you can see, I have equal ponytails like on the other side. I now have a total of 6. From here, I move to the top. First, I section off a triangle, focusing on the pony area. Next, I'll project that section forward and set my first ponytail at the contour edge. 2 more will follow behind, and I'll pull those out as well, just like the bottom to replicate the layering. Adding highlights to curly hair is a lot of work, and the final result can sometimes be underwhelming. That's because those highlights tend to get lost in the curls. What I want to achieve with this balayage for curly hair is to maintain depth on the inside while ensuring brightness at the ends. This lifts the ends of the curls, allowing you to create a lovely color play in the hair. So forget about highlights in long hair, or maybe just a bit at the contour edge where you combine it with this curl balayage. However, this creates a much nicer effect in curly hair compared to full head highlights. Now, I'm almost at the little ponytail at the back of the head. I've created 9 ponytails in total, and I'll apply them in a unique way to create that beautiful brightness at the ends. From here, I can start lightening the ends. I'm using Kiss's Snow White with 9%. But be sure to always check with your client about how many shades you want to lighten and what percentage is needed. Do not use 12 because we want to protect the hair from damage. I've prepared the Snow White in a 1:2 ratio with 9%. For the client, I also use Carabon, so the mixing ratio is slightly different. I only color the outside of the ponytail, and I'll show you how I do that shortly. Next, I press it firmly onto my color board, applying my lightener, because I want that entire lightening in the ends, but not at the roots. You saw that just now when I pushed the board back and gave the hair some space. Then, inside the ponytail, right by the elastic, no hair is colored. And I want it that way because I want it to flow softly through the hair without seeing the start of the color placement. I've completed my teasing with all the dark hair inside, and the ends are completely lightened. I'm projecting my second ponytail to the front, at the point where the first elastic ends. To that point, I also place my lightener because I want it to fade out at the back. You color the section until you reach the first elastic. Your color board is, of course, an ideal tool to use. It's great for coloring hair well, as it lets me apply pressure on the lengths, or rather on the ends, to fully get my lightener in. And I gently blend it into the rest of the hair because I want to keep that natural hair in. I also use foil for the hair to protect it. You can work with a transparent foil, but I prefer to use silver foil here. It warms up a bit more, so the lightening happens a bit faster. At the top, I don't press it too tightly against the hair because that might create a line or a spot, which I don't want, so I just press it gently. I fold the foil shut and let it simply hang. You can see I'm working on slightly damp hair, and I recommend this at all times when you do a balayage, because then you get much prettier, softer transitions in the hair. It's much easier to blend your lightener. This way you also prevent spots and lines. As you can see, I project the ponytail all the way forward, and then I color the hair up to where my first elastic from the first ponytail is. I also want to have the most lightening at the front in my final result, especially in the curls, which you'll see at the end. It gradually fades away nicely. Yes, it goes deeper at the back. Not that there's nothing there, but it just blends in beautifully. That's why I project all my color applications forward. This way, I achieve the most highlights at the front of the hair. Well, I've already worked on the other side. It's just an exact copy of the left side. Look, I've reached the top now. You can see me lightly misting the hair with a spray bottle. It shouldn't be soaking wet, just slightly damp. I sometimes get the question, shouldn't you increase the hydrogen peroxide in your bleach because you're diluting it? Look, I don't work on soaking wet hair. So you really don't need to increase your hydrogen peroxide when working on damp hair. It's actually beneficial for your balayage to create a nice possible transition. Look, I'm showing it again. My tip is entirely in the bleach, but towards the tail, there's still a lot of natural hair left inside. That's how I get that beautiful soft transition. Now you can see that all the hair is directed forward. I'll demonstrate it again at the end, but that's just for your benefit. To keep an eye on that first elastic band. So soon, when I start my second ponytail, I'll pull it forward too. My body position is for the client when I apply this color. This way I can see exactly where to place my bleach. I use all Kiss products. Here's the Snow White. As you can see, I have the color board. I'm using 9%. Soon I'll also use the soft shades. That's also a lot of fun. So stay tuned. You can order all these products using the Kiss app. It's an app you can download on your phone. You can easily place orders there to have everything delivered to your home. After bleaching, I'll color the hair using the soft shades. Always remember the lift of your bleach. At what color level do you want to apply it? So if you want to color everything at a level 8, the light points, rinse it out at a level 8. Avoid letting it lift to a level 9 or 10, because that will make your color fade quicker. If you want to color at a level 9 or 10, 10, rinse it out when it's extremely light. The nice thing about this technique is that it goes in super fast. Sure, you spend some time sectioning and pulling hair from the ponytails, but in the end, you only have 9 sections to color with your bleach. So it's a very quick, clear, and beautiful technique that you can really apply well in your salon with your clients. When I have them all in, there are 9 total. Then I'll push all the foils forward, and then you can see exactly how I applied my color. So I'll take a look. I'll flip it over. Yes, then you can count easily. There are 9 total, with 3 on the other side. Look, when I project it forward, you can clearly see that all my color accents are at the front.
Usually, I don't show up again halfway through my YouTube film and I go straight back to work. But now I'm going to pause for a moment because I want to tell you something about the soft shades. You see, we usually get the soft shades ready using the soft shades activator. But those who work with the soft shades know that this product is thinner and ideal for use at the sink in your bottle. So what do I want to do now? And that also occurs in the salon. I wish to enhance the darker section to a richer copper hue while making the lighter points a softer copper. Therefore, I will be using 2 colors. Personally, I find it easiest to do this with a bowl and a brush. But the soft shades activator works, though it's a thinner product, so it might drip more on your floor, which would be a shame. So this is what I'll do. I'm going to replace the soft shades activator with my demi lotion, and I'll mix it 1-to-1. What's the benefit of this? I'll check if I can frame it well. Let me assess if it's necessary to approach nearer. Just a quick peek. See, it becomes a little thicker, and in this way it's easier to use with your client behind the chair in the salon. So normally you just keep using the activator. When you prepare it at the sink in your bottle, it's very easy to distribute. But once you start working with the soft shades behind the chair, I really suggest mixing it 1-to-1 with the demi lotion from Kiss. Okay, here I have the final result. I'll show it to you right away. Look, you can see that the ends have turned a nice blonde, and it's a bit higher and flows lower. Later in the final result, I will really create the curls because it's a beautiful technique for curly hair. But first I'm going to set up the soft shades. I'll put on some gloves and then work with a thicker soft shade. Are you watching?
I'm going to color the dark section of the hair using half Aero 6 kilos and half Aero 9 Ka from the soft shades. It's easy to find. Look, when I push the hair back, you can see where it's dark. First, I'll create a square section. From there, I'll start applying my base color to all the dark sections first, with the formula of 0.6 kg and 0.9 K mixed half and half. You can also see that the substance on my brush is a bit thicker when I work with the soft shades activator, which is perfect for the bottle, so it won't be leaving my salon anytime soon. But when I'm working with the client at the chair, when I work with multiple colors, I mix it 1-to-1 with the demi. As I mentioned earlier, this makes it a bit easier to work with, and you'll spill less on the floor. Be careful when working with 2 colors to keep the hand you use to hold the hair clean, that no color gets on it. Imagine I have 0.6 kilos on my left hand and I'm using it to pick up the section. Then you'll find that the tip becomes darker, and that's not ideal. So always work cleanly and carefully. I've decided to work with copper shades. Copper shades have been around for some time, but they're still popular. Shades is perfect for this purpose. Just picture me actually coloring a client entirely with dye right now, and she says in spring, I want to go back to blonde. Well, let me tell you, you really have quite a challenge ahead of you to get that back to blonde again. Soft shades is a color that uses ammonia-free dye, which does not penetrate deeply into the hair structure, and that's why it's simply easier to remove. Look, you may ask how many washes it lasts. I always get that question. But if you treat it well, following the KISS steps, and use good products, then the color will have durability. I really don't wash her hair every day. You can see how the lower I go, the higher my soft shades become. There's more depth. Now I fold it back, and this way I apply the dye to all the hair before I go to the ends. I've passed over that part for now. Now I'm heading to the ends. What I do is use the wide side of my comb. I comb through the hair section. For the ends, I apply the 09K from the soft shades. They will color a bit darker than the 09K, but that's because I let the base recipe run through a bit. In the lengths and ends, I've already considered this while preparing my recipe. I comb it through with the wide side of my comb. I set the 09K on the lengths. Make sure you apply enough pressure. Make sure you grab all the hair. If I think, oh, up there, at the base coloring I see some natural hair, which I don't want, so I apply the first recipe there again. Now I let them blend together in this way. This way, you achieve a beautiful gradient in your color. Look, I've created that soft gradient with the coloring underneath, using that curly balayage. But now, with my soft shades, I again ensure a gentle gradient, because I don't want to see any harsh lines in my coloring. And this way, you go all the way through where the hair is light. That's where you put the 09K. The recipe for the ends. Where it's dark, you use the half 06kg and the half 09K. And you let them blend nicely together by using your fingers to create that transition. You see a transparent foil here, which is stuck to the underside. I do this intentionally because I want to protect the client's skin from the color. I don't need to use transparent foil between all the other sections, just under the first one, to keep it neat. It serves as a barrier between the skin and the color. When you've finished everything, let it sit for 20 minutes, then rinse it out. Here's the final result. So yesterday I applied the leave-in conditioner, then the Keramos on top, and the De Vries cream. I just let it dry like that. And you hear me say, I filmed this over 2 days yesterday. I want to create those curls to show you that this color looks great on curly hair, but I didn't have a curly doll head. So I'm going to do it artificially. I'll use a curling iron to create all the curls. Before I make the curls, I use the Kira spray to help hold the shape. Now I'm just steadily going through to create all the curls. When I have all the curls in place. You see here, I'm working on the last two. You might think, wow, I have some really tight curls. I don't want that. It needs to be fixed. Look, you're going to separate them soon. With 2 products, I'll show you how to break those curls. You might have this with your clients thinking, oh, the curls are a bit stiff. Here's the tip. Then you grab the Glam Shine spray. In your hand, a few pumps, and combine it with the diffuse cream. You create a cocktail from that. Then you go through the hair with your hands to break the stiffness. The only thing I do to shape it is use my fingers. I use my fingers to work through it. See, I first break those curls. I really pull it out to get rid of that frizz. Then, using just my hands, I'll shape it. I hope